In the dim glow of her computer screen, Dr. Alina Ramirez scrolled through her social media feed late one rainy night in Seattle. It was September 2025, and the world outside her apartment window was a blur of autumn leaves and relentless drizzle. Alina, a 42-year-old veterinarian specializing in primates, had just finished a grueling shift at the local wildlife rehabilitation center. She was exhausted, her muscles aching from lifting a sedated monkey earlier that day, but sleep eluded her, as it often did these days. That's when the image popped up, a haunting photograph of a chimpanzee. Its body swollen to grotesque proportions, slumped against the bars of a cramped enclosure. The caption read, "This is Jocks at Willowbrook Wildlife Park. Is this obesity? Or something worse? Share if you care." The post had already garnered thousands of likes and shares, with comments flooding in from animal rights activists, concerned parents, and even a few celebrities. Elena's heart skipped a beat. She zoomed in on the photo, studying the chimp's dull eyes, the way its fur matted against its distended belly. This wasn't just overfeeding. She could tell from years of experience. Something was terribly wrong. Willowbrook Wildlife Park was a privately owned attraction in the rural outskirts of Oregon, about a 4-hour drive from Seattle. It had a reputation for cutting corners, small enclosures, underpaid staff, and rumors of mistreatment. Lena had heard whispers about it at conferences, but nothing concrete until now. A photo was part of a thread started by a visitor who claimed the park's animals looked lifeless and forgotten. Jocks, the chimpanzee, was the star of the horror show. In older photos on the park's outdated website, Jocks appeared vibrant, swinging from branches with the agility of a young athlete. That was just 18 months ago. How had he ballooned to this state so quickly? Lena leaned back in her chair, rubbing her temples. Memories flooded back unbidden 5 years earlier. In the dense jungles of Borneo, where she had volunteered with an anti-poaching organization, she had arrived too late to save a young orangutan named Miko, riddled with bullets from illegal hunters. Miko had died in her arms, his trusting eyes dimming as she whispered apologies. Never again, she had vowed then, quitting field work and returning to the States for a safer practice. But safer didn't mean easier. The guilt lingered, like a shadow. Pushing the thoughts aside, Elena grabbed her phone and dialed the park's number. It rang endlessly before a gruff voice answered. "Willowbrook. What do you want?" "This is Dr. Elena Ramirez, a primate specialist. I've seen photos of your chimpanzee Jocks. I'd like to offer my services for an examination." The line went silent. For a moment, then laughter erupted. "Lady, our animals are fine. People online don't know Jack. Jocks is just ... big-boned. Goodbye." The call ended abruptly. Lena stared at her phone, fury building. This wasn't right. She posted a comment on the viral thread. "As a vet, this looks like a medical emergency, not obesity." Within hours, her comment was liked hundreds of times, and messages poured in from strangers urging her to investigate. Meanwhile, at Willowbrook, the park's owner, Harlan Crow, paced his cluttered office. A burly man in his 60s with a perpetual scowl, Harlan had inherited the park from his father and turned it into a cash cow by skimping on everything from feed to veterinary care. "Damn internet busybodies," he muttered, staring at the same photo on his computer. Jocks had been a draw for families, but lately, the chimp hadn't moved much. Harlan's staff had dismissed it as laziness, but deep down, he knew something was off. Visitors had been throwing junk food and worse into the enclosures for years, despite signs he couldn't afford to shut down. Unbeknownst to Harlan, the viral post had caught the eye of Detective Sarah Klein, a Portland PD officer with a soft spot for animals. Sarah had visited Willowbrook with her niece the previous weekend. The girl's innocent question, "Auntie, why does that monkey look so sad?" had pierced Sarah's heart. She had snapped photos discreetly and uploaded them anonymously. Now, with the post exploding, Sarah decided to make it official. She filed a report citing potential animal cruelty and rallied a small team to investigate. By morning, news outlets picked up the story. "Mystery at Willowbrook. Is this chimp being abused?" Headlines screamed. Alina watched it all unfold from her clinic, her resolve hardening. She packed her medical kit, called in favors for time off, and hit the road to Oregon. Little did she know, this journey would unearth secrets far darker than a simple blockage and test her limits in ways she never imagined. As Alina drove through the misty forests, flashbacks interspersed her thoughts. In Borneo, Miko's death wasn't just poachers. It was corruptionally officials turning a blind eye for bribes. Was Willowbrook similar? Rumors online suggested Harlan had connections, perhaps even smuggling exotic animals. Alina shook her head. Focus on Jocks, she told herself. Arriving at Willowbrook, she found the gates chained, police tape fluttering in the wind. Investigation had moved fast. The park was temporarily closed. Officers milled about, coordinating with animal welfare experts from the state. Sarah Klein approached Alina, recognizing her from the online comment. Dr. Ramirez, I'm Detective Klein. We could use your expertise. Most of our team is focused on the big cats and birds. They're in bad shape, but that chimp, ... He's priority for you if you're willing. Alina nodded eagerly. Absolutely. Lead the way. Inside the park, the air reeked of neglectstale hay, unwashed enclosures, and the distant cries of distressed animals. Jocks's cage was at the far end, isolated in a shaded corner. As Alina approached, her breath caught. The photo didn't do justice to the horror. Jocks lay motionless, his belly protruding like a bloated balloon, his eyes half closed in apparent agony. He weighed at least double what a healthy adult chimp should, perhaps 300 pounds instead of 150. Has anyone examined him yet? Alina asked the lead welfare vet, Dr. Liam Harper, a young but overworked man with dark circles under his eyes. Liam sighed. Not closely. He's non-responsive. We figured, ... Well, it's hopeless. Resources are thin. We're prioritizing the ones we can save today. Elena's jaw set. Hopeless. That's not for us to decide without trying. I lost an animal once. Because I waited. Not this time. Liam hesitated, then shrugged. Fine, but you're on your own. The staff here won't touch him. Too dangerous. As the team dispersed to handle other rescues, Alina suited up in protective gear. Her hands trembled slightly as she unlocked the enclosure door. Chimps were intelligent social creatures, but pain could make them unpredictable. Easy, Jocks, she murmured, stepping inside. The chimp didn't stir. She inched closer, her stethoscope ready. Up close, Jocks's breathing was shallow, labored. No signs of obesity. His limbs were thin, almost atrophied from immobility. Alina palpated his abdomen gently, feeling the hardness beneath the swell. This isn't food, she whispered. It's a blockage, severe impaction. But how? A chimp's. In captivity, sometimes ingested foreign objects out of boredom or stress, but this scale suggested months of accumulation. Alina glanced around the enclosure. Clean. Too clean for an immobile animal. No waste piles. Confirmation. Jocks couldn't eliminate. Time was critical. Sepsis could set in any moment. She needed to operate, but alone. In this rundown park. It was risky, but waiting meant death. Alina made the call: sedation and emergency surgery. As she prepared the tranquilizer dart, a shadow fell over the cage. It was Harlan Crow, watching from afar, with narrowed eyes. What secrets was he hiding? Alina's mind raced back to Borneo as she loaded the dart gun. The jungle heat, the metallic scent of blood, Miko's small body convulsing in her arms. She had hesitated then, waiting for backup that never came, because the local guide was on the poacher's payroll. The guilt had driven her home, to a life of routine checkups and safe distances. But Jocks's plight mirrored Miko's too closely. Won't fail you, she vowed silently. Firing the dart, she watched it hit Jocks's shoulder. The chimp twitched, but didn't react aggressively. Minutes later, he slumped fully unconscious. Lena worked quickly, rolling him onto a tarp for better access. She made the incision, her scalpel steady, despite the adrenaline. The park's power was unreliable, but for now, the lights held. Inside, the intestines were distended, packed with undigested matter. As she probed, her forceps hit something solid. Pulling it out, Alina gasped. A plastic bottle cap followed. Buy a coin, then a keychain. Visitors, she muttered. People throwing treats or trash, and jocks, stressed and hungry, swallowing it all. But the quantity was staggering. This had been going on for years, ignored by staff. Suddenly, the lights flickered and died. Pitch black enveloped the enclosure. No, Alina cursed, fumbling for her headlamp. Shadows danced as she continued, sweat beading on her forehead. Her tool slipped once, nicking a blood vessel. Blood welled up, but she cauterized it swiftly. Heart pounding, she removed item after item. A toy soldier, a phone case fragment, even a ring. How could they let this happen? Hours later, the blockage cleared. Alina stitched Jocks up and administered antibiotics. Exhausted, she sat beside him, monitoring his vitals. As dawn broke, Jocks stirred, slightly a good sign. But the real test was ahead. Back at her motel, Alina researched Willowbrook's history. Online forums revealed scandals, animals dying mysteriously, staff quitting over unpaid wages, whispers of Harlan selling exotic pets on the black market. One post from an ex-employee claimed Harlan encouraged visitors to interact with animals for tips. Leading to the trash throwing, Alina texted Sarah. "This isn't just neglect, it's criminal," Sarah replied. "Agreed. We're digging into finances. Stay safe." Night Alina dreamed of Miko, but this time she saved him. Waking with renewed purpose, she returned to the park. Jocks was awake, but feverish 102 degrees and rising. Infection. Panic set in. Without proper facilities, he could go septic. Liam arrived, surprised. "He's alive. Impressive. But we need to move him." "Not yet," Alina insisted. She set up for cooling him with ice packs from the park's freezer. As she worked, a young volunteer named Alex, a college student studying biology, approached. Tall, with kind eyes and a nervous smile, Alex had been helping with bird rescues. "Dr. Ramirez? I saw what you were doing. Can I assist? I love primates." Alina hesitated. Dramatic tension wasn't on her agenda, but his enthusiasm was genuine. "Sure, hold this compress." As they worked side by side, Alex shared stories of his own Losissa pet dog neglected by his parents. Conversation flowed, easing the tension. But then Jocks' temperature spiked to 105. "He's crashing," Alina shouted. They fought through the night, administering fluids and meds. At 3 a.m., Jocks' fever broke. He opened his eyes, locking gaze with Alina. For the first time, there was recognition, gratitude. With Jocks stabilizing, Alina turned to the bigger picture. Sarah's investigation uncovered ledgers showing Harlan skimped on vet care to fund personal luxuries, a yacht, vacations. Worse, evidence of animal trafficking. Jocks had been acquired from a dubious source, possibly wild-caught. Alina confronted Harlan in his office. "Your negligence almost killed Jocks. Visitors throwing trash, why didn't you stop it?" Harlan sneered. "Animals are tough. It's business." But Alina noticed a file on his desk, photos of other chimps, marked sold. "What's this?" Harlan snatched it. "None of your business. Get out." Later, Alex confided. "I overheard staff talking. Harlan's in debt to shady investors. They might have sabotaged animals to cut costs." Twist. That night, someone tampered with Jocks' four. Alina caught a shadowy figure fleeing a staff member. She chased but lost them in the dark. Calling Sarah, they set a trap. Meanwhile, Jocks' recovery accelerated. Stood for the first time, chattering softly. Alina spent hours with him, building trust through play and food. Flashbacks deepened. In Borneo, she had a brief romance with a fellow volunteer, ended by tragedy. Alex's presence stirred old feelings, but she pushed them away. Subplot. Online, the story went viral again. Lena's updates on a blog drew donations for Jocks' relocation to a sanctuary. But threats arrive. Dan anonymous email. Stop meddling or Jocks pays. Complications arose. Jocks relapsed with abdominal pain. Lena performed a second procedure, discovering a missed shard of glass. During surgery, power failed again, forcing improvisation with car headlights from Alex's vehicle. Emotional arc. Alina broke down to Alex about Miko. I couldn't save him because I trusted the wrong people. Alex hugged her. You're saving Jocks now. That's what matters. Romantic tension. Built a kiss under the stars, but interrupted by Sarah's call. We have proof. Harlan's arresting tomorrow. But watch out, he's desperate. Twist. Harlan confronted Alina at the enclosure, gun in hand. You ruined everything, he revealed. He encouraged trash throwing to entertain visitors, boosting attendance. Blockage was collateral. Struggle ensued. Jocks, sensing danger, rattled the bars, distracting Harlan. Alex tackled him, and police arrived.
Out.
With Harlan arrested, Willowbrook closed permanently. Animals relocated, Jocks to a spacious sanctuary in California. Alina oversaw the move, bonding deeper with him. Recovery scenes, Jocks playing, regaining strength. Alina visited often, with Alex by her side, their relationship blossoming. Redemption. Alina founded a nonprofit against captive animal abuse, inspired by Jocks. Epilogue. Years later.
Thriving.
Alina reflecting on how one viral photo changed lives. Moral: kindness prevails. Thanks so much for listening. See you in the next video. Have a great day.